Merci à tous déjà d'être venus et d'être fidèles à nos lancements. C'est pour ça qu'on a voulu aussi être fidèles avec vous et vous inviter en petit comité, vraiment pour que ce soit quelque chose de très entre nous, on va dire ça comme ça. Et puisqu'on parle d'un mate, c'était important that we call our mates, and you guys are our mates. So we wanted you to be here today for this special introduction to the Mate 50 Pro. I think that's all I have to say for the introduction. I'll leave the floor to our training manager, which is Ahmed, very known in the Indian Ocean right now. No need to present. Ahmed, please.
Thank you. So as long as it's green, I'm friendly, right? It's lighting green, so I'm friendly. Right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed Al-Alfi. I'm the training manager for Huawei. I know some of you already, we met before. Welcome today, in the event of Mate 50 Pro. The Mate series was always something that we were proud of as a flagship series, right? And it always brings the new technology in terms of camera, in terms of design. So this is something that every year we drive the technology ahead. We set the standard with the Mate series. So let's start first since we are talking about the history, about the Mate series, right? We started all the way back in 2013 with the first Mate, which is the Mate 1, right? And then in the year after, we had the second generation of the Mate 2. In 2014, we moved to the more exposure, when people start to know Huawei devices, flagship devices. And if you remember this time, we had the trend of metal phones, like the phone's completely made of metal. It has fingerprint sensor at the back, right? So that was the Mate 7. And then we moved to the Mate 8. If you remember this era, we had the mocha color of the Mate 8. It was a very special color. With all these phones, we keep driving the technology, we're setting the standard, especially for camera technology, as we will see in a bit. So we moved through Mate 10, and I think Mate 10 here in Mauritius was the first really popular of the Mate series. Mate 20 Pro in 2018, 2019 here in Mauritius was also very popular. The Mate 20 Pro was one of the first devices that came with the shape like the multiple cameras. You have ultra wide, you have zoom, you have the main camera with high resolution. And this happened to be the very first device that Huawei launched and the week I joined Huawei. So this has always a special place in my heart, the Mate 20 Pro. And Mate 30 Pro also, it came with the camera ring, the design of the rounded camera ring, and the very special design, the vegan leather that we will talk about today also, and the Mate 40 series, which was the last generation before the Mate 50 Pro. So if we go through the Mate series.
Can you just go back, because I feel very emotional when I look at this previous slide, because I've used most of these phones, the Mate series, and I'm sure a lot of you here, some of you here have used the Mate, and I've never heard someone complain about the Mate series. So this is the best slide for me. Now let's move to the next one.
Right. So we were talking about that leading the technology, moving the technology forward. So always the Mate series came with a new idea, new design, innovative design when it comes to like the technology, when it comes to design. So for example, when you look here at the Mate 30 Pro, right, it was the first phone. It has this unique look to it. When you look at it, it's easy to recognize between other phones. You don't have to ask to say what phone is that, because this is a very special look to the Mate. Same for the Mate 40 Pro. So there is a common thing with the design here, which is like the symmetrical design, which is something also we will see in today's presentation. Also, when it comes to photography, and this is something maybe most of you know already, for the P series and the Mate series, we always step ahead when it comes to the camera technology, right? And then the industry follow up. So for example, something like the mobile AI or the AI recognition when it comes to the camera. Huawei introduced that first with the Mate 20 series, right? And then we moved it to the most affordable series, the mid-range, and even the budget phones. And now the whole industry relies on AI in some form to just, for example, change the colors, the skin tone, the beauty mode, blur the background. All this relies on AI algorithm, which is built in the chipsets, in the processor of these devices. Something also the super sensing sensor, which we changed the RGB sensor, the traditional RGB sensor for the traditional cameras to RYYB. So we replaced the green with yellow. It's much brighter. So you don't need night mode, in fact, to take a brighter photo in low light with the Mate series. So this is something, these are all technologies that Huawei introduced first, either with the P series or with the Mate series. The periscope telephoto camera, that was first with the P30 Pro. What is a periscope? Periscope, like some of you will have, of course, used the DSLR before. When you want to zoom, right? The lens has to expand to zoom, right? But how can I zoom on a smartphone without getting the lens outside of the phone? The phone is less than 1 centimeter, right? How am I gonna get the lens to expand? So we designed something we call periscope lens, which is the lens is actually fit in the phone sideways. So that's how you get the depth of the zoom lens. And in the end here, there is a mirror. Something like the old submarines, right? When they look down, they see up. How they can see up? It's a mirror, right? You can see through a mirror. So that's how we achieved this five times zoom, 10 times zoom on a phone or on a lens that doesn't expand. And this was an amazing technology that other manufacturers or other brands took after that and implemented in their smartphone, which was in Huawei first. So these kind of technologies, right? The Mate series especially is like, we're always first when it comes to this technology. So moving on to the biggest Huawei Mate series in terms of design. So biggest feature in terms of design, right? We have seen the design from the Mate 1 all the way to the Mate 40 Pro. And the common thing between the devices is the symmetrical design, right? The symmetrical aesthetics. So if you look at these three devices here, you will notice one thing, right? It is designed by an engineer, right? Someone who, like, the distance between the lenses is the same distance, everything is centered, right? The circle here, it is divided into exactly 2 4 quarters, right? Which each quarter has the lens. So it is always symmetrical. Everything centered, everything has the same distance from the other, right? And here we like carrying on the trend with the Mate 50 Pro. So you can see here the four cameras with the flash in the middle, right? And the Huawei logo is centered, right? So this is something we call it a symmetrical design, which is something also very common in the Mate series, right? So this is the design. I have a video here I would like to show you about the Mate 50 Pro. Sound. Okay, I'll search it on my PC. Right. Okay, I think it should be okay now. Again, no sound. So this is showing the symmetrical design of the Mate 20 Pro. Finally, the sound came. So as you can see, we can say the craftsmanship of the Mate 50 Pro, everything centered, all the circles are the same size and the same distance from each other, which lead us to the symmetrical design. We will have three colors of the Mate 50 Pro. I think maybe you have seen them already. We have the black, we have the silver, and we have also the special edition, which is the orange color. And the back here for these ones are gloss, the back. Here, this one is what we call vegan leather, right? So it is very soft to the touch, and also it's very durable. So something like that will be something very luxurious, right, with the gold and orange. And also this version will come with 512 gigabyte of storage compared to the others, which are 256. So this is the special edition among the three colors. If we move to the front of the phone, which we have, of course, the display, that's the first thing that you will look at every day when you use the phone. We have here an OLED curved display. So the display is curved on the side. So this display, it's 120 Hertz. So it's very smooth transition, very smooth animation. And also it is, like I said, it's OLED. It's 2K resolution and it's 6.74. So this means it's a big display for multimedia, for gaming, for this kind of usage. And you will notice also that we have like a cutout on the top of the display, which is for the 3D face unlock. So here you have the front camera, and also you have the sensor for the 3D face unlock. 3D face unlock is basically like a secure face unlock. It uses more than the camera, so you have an IR sensor. So it can unlock with your face in the dark, and it won't be fooled with a photo or someone that looks like you. So this is very secure. Also, if you choose to have the in-screen fingerprint sensor, you can use that. So either or you want the 3D face unlock or the in-screen fingerprint sensor. This is like a convenient experience, this or that. Of course, the screen supports HDR. It has 1 billion colors. So for photographers, I know that we have some photographers here today. The colors accuracy is very important, right? So we have here a 10-bit display, which will display the colors as your eyes would see it. And this is very important when it comes to photography and photos. If we, speaking of photos, we have the new technology here, or the new, like I would call mobile photography technology. We call it XMage. In the past, in the previous generations, we were using technology by Leica, right? We all know Leica is a camera manufacturer, is a German camera manufacturer. So we were using their software, processing software, the color science and all that in the cameras, right? This generation, we're developing something in-house, so something developed by Huawei, what we call XMage. So what is XMage exactly? XMage is, like, we can call it a trained AI to process the image that you will take from the camera. Again, we have to agree that taking a photo is more than just using a lens and a sensor, right? The software plays a huge role when you're talking about how good the image is, right? So for example, the skin tone, how to process the skin tone, how to process the shadows and the highlights. So all these XMage is like a different type of image processing to give you the best photo always. And this is something that you will see. We have three modes. We have the original, which sticks to the colors that you would see from your eyes would see. And then we have the vivid and we have the bright. So these are three different main styles for the image processing you can choose from when you're taking your photo. So this is a brand that developed by Huawei to replace the likes of Leica. It's again color science, image processing, AI trained to process the image to give you the best image possible always when you're taking a photo. Moving on to the cameras itself, and here we have a really interesting camera alignment or a camera technology compared to the previous generations. First, we have the 50 megapixel. This is the main sensor, right? And here we have something special that has been never available or never been on a smartphone before, which is the multiple or variable aperture. If you have used a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, you know that the professional lenses will have a variable aperture, right? You change the aperture according to the amount of light that you need or the amount of depth of field, the bokeh effect, right? Here on a smartphone, usually you stick to a fixed aperture, either like maybe 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, right? Or some brands in the past did 2 apertures. You can switch between 1 or 2 aperture. But here we have 10 different apertures, just like the professional DSLR lenses. So you can go from f1.4 all the way to f4 on the Mate 50 Pro. So this is something that has never been available in a smartphone before, alongside, of course, with 64 megapixel telephoto lens, which can go up to 100 times zoom with 200 times range from the ultra wide all the way to 100 times. And we have the ultra wide angle camera, 13 megapixel, and we have the proximity sensor here to measure the distance between the camera and the subject to be able to blur the background to help the main camera to apply this blur effect. This is what I was talking about, the aperture, right? So it's like the eye of the camera, right? The more wide the aperture gets, the more light you will get in the lens, right? So this means better photos in low light. Also, one function of the aperture that the aperture serves here is the bokeh effect. The bokeh effect is like the depth of field, the shallow depth of field, blurring the background. And I have an example here I can show you, right? So this is when it's completely closed, and here when it's completely open. So this is these are 2 photos are taken by the Mate 50 Pro, right? So you will see the difference here between the f1.4 and f4. I think I swapped between them. So this here is the f4. So you see almost all the everything in the photo almost in focus, right? So everything near to the lens is in focus. However, for the f1.4 here, which is the lens is completely open, you will see that the focus only on the main subject, which is like this Batman here. So as you can see, the amount of bokeh or amount of depth of shallow depth of field with the f1.4, of course, everything will be blurred except the subject in focus. Here is a video showing you how the lens opens and closes. This is a video we captured from the Mate 50 Pro when changing the aperture. So as you can see, it changes the aperture from f1.4 all the way to f4 just by going to Pro mode or aperture mode from the camera app. Just changing it, it will give you this kind of aperture, right? Moving on to the low light mode. So of course, f1.4 is something that is very wide, right? So this is a photo here without night mode. This was at 11 p.m. I took this photo myself from the top of my house, right? So as you can see here at 11 p.m., it's basically what your eye would see. It's really dark, right? But here you can still see the details of the sky, the mountain, and the tree. And when we swap to night mode on, when you put the night mode on, you will see even the colors are much brighter. So if we zoom in, right, you will see still there are a lot of details for the tree, even though it's really dark. I'm talking about 11 p.m. here with no light, no street lights that pointing this direction. So this is close to what your eyes would see. With night mode, that's what you would get. So that's thanks to, of course, to the f1.4 aperture, because it's really wide, capture as much light as possible. So compared to other brands, right, this is the best kind of night shot that you would get on a smartphone, right? So capturing very bright, very vivid, and with much more details compared to other smartphones with the night mode, just because it's the f1.4, and we talked about the RYYB sensor, that we replaced the G in RGB with yellow, which will capture much more light. The yellow is much brighter than the green. Okay? Professional portrait, of course, portrait with shallow depth of field with f1.4 will give you really professional portrait, something similar to what you get usually from mirrorless or DSLR. So it will blur the background to give you a really nice shallow depth of field. You have also the super macro videos and super macro photos. Again, nowadays there is a common usage for cameras that you would take like a photo of something really small or getting really near to a kind of object. Now, the normal camera, if I get really near to an object, what will happen? It won't focus. That's why we need a lens, what we call a macro lens. And I will just do a kind of demonstration for you here. So I'll just disconnect the presentation for a while, and I will connect my phone to the PC so you can see on the big screen what's happening on my phone. So just give me a sec. Here, duplicate. So what you will see on the screen here is part of the Huawei ecosystem, connecting a laptop to a phone just to mirror the screen, right? So this is the Mate 50 Pro here. I'll just do a simple demonstration how this macro camera works. So I have just here 100 rupees, right? This is something maybe you have seen before, maybe you didn't notice. There is the number of the note printed very small here on the top, on the bottom of the note. This is from 25 to 2000. Let's see how we can see that with the camera. So you can see the camera here, if you look at the screen, right? And I will try to get really near to it. You see the 100 printed very small here, right? So once I do that, there is like I get really near to a small subject. You see an icon appears here, this icon here, right? If I tap on it, it will switch automatically to the macro camera. So you will see this kind of details. You see? So this 100, usually, I don't think many people have noticed that the note has a really small number like this, right? So these are all the notes for the central bank that print the number. This is an example for how to take a macro photo. Of course, you can take something for nature, like the heart of a flower, is a very small bug, butterfly. You can use all these for the scenarios of the macro camera. And you can switch to it simply by just getting near to the object. You will get the macro icon on the side, right? And you just put it on and it will switch to the macro camera. So this was one of the usage that you can use the Mate 50 Pro in the photography scenario, which is the macro photos or macro videos. Okay, moving on. So these are different scenarios. We have 2.5 centimeter macro, super macro. So as you can see, this is another example, right? So shooting like the heart or the core of flower. That you have the ultra wide with the 13 megapixel, 120 degrees. You have the 100 times zoom range. And of course, on front, you have the zoom camera, which is also ultra wide. So for people who like to take group selfies, right? That would be a really nice addition to your daily photography experience. Speaking of the front, so we talked about the 3D face unlock. So you have here the main sensor, right? And you have here the 3D face unlock sensors like the dot projector, the IR sensor, the time of flight, all these, the helps to take to do a secure face unlock. So for example, if you're completely in the darkness and you try to unlock the phone will still unlock even if there's no light at all. Simply because you have here an IR sensor that shines these dots on your face to see your face even in the dark. So this is something, that's why it justifies this big cutout on the top of the display. Speaking of the whole experience, when we talk about the camera, like the camera of the Mate 50 Pro among other devices, this is DxOMark. So DxOMark is a website that tests cameras every generation, and it rated that Huawei Mate 50 Pro is #1 above the likes of Google Pixel 7 Pro. You have iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max. So Mate 50 Pro is currently #1 in terms of camera technology, either on the front camera or the back camera, as you can see. If we move to another area, which the Mate 50 Pro is something that is very special compared to what is available in the market, or something new that came with. There is a new technology, we call it emergency mode. So if your phone is at 1%, it's dying, right? And you don't have access to a charger. And you need to make a very urgent call, or you need to keep your phone for a while. Someone will call you or send you a message, right? So you can switch to this mode. At 1%, it can stay for up to 15 minutes, right? So if you are wants to call someone urgently and you're in a remote place that doesn't have a charger, or you don't have access to a charger, you can use this. The second part, which is something that's very popular among the Mate 50 Pro people who are interested in the Mate 50 Pro, or have users of the Mate 50 Pro, which is the Contact glass. Now, there is a study, it's been done in 2021. 29% of the users that use a smartphone break or shatter their screen at least, right? So 29%, that's a huge number, meaning like almost like more than 1/4 of the users break their phones in some form. At least they shatter their screen, right? Yeah. So let's take a vote, right? Who break a screen before? Who break a screen before? Okay, who didn't break a screen before? Never break a screen before. So what about the rest? You're cheering for the two teams. Okay, they are not sure they break it or not. Yeah, breaking half. Well, broken screen is a broken heart. Like especially if the phone is expensive, something expensive as this, and then you just drop it, it's gone. Like, yeah, a broken heart, a broken pocket. Yeah, of course. So here we introduce a new technology to give the customer like a peace of mind. It's called Contact glass. Contact is the name of a mountain in China. It's mystical mountain. If you watch the Iron Fist, the show Iron Fist, you will know like the dragon who is fighting the dragon and all. So it's a mystical thing, and of course it named this way for a reason. So what is Contact glass? Let's see a video here showing what is Contact glass. So this is a video to show the durability of the glass on the Mate 50 Pro. So this is metal ball, of course, right? And showing it from a distance on the glass, right? Again, this is higher level. So this is another test. It's done in Huawei lab. And this shows how durable the screen is. There is another test showing the pressure on the screen, right? And it shows you how durable this glass is. So if we compare it to something the technology standard, which is the Corning Gorilla Glass on most of the smartphones, this is 10 times more durable than the Corning Gorilla Glass. And we are not talking about scratch resistant, we're talking about drop resistance as well, right?
One thing that was not in the plan today, but I would like to test it. Does anyone have another phone from another brand? We have a hammer, and we try it on our device and your device. So
She's good.
Sorry. Who wants to chance to break? Anyone of you wants to try with your?
She's the one. She's the one. She's very good.
What brand is it from? Huawei. No, we're not gonna break Huawei. Yeah, we don't break Huawei. Yeah.
If you want to do the test, you can use your phone and our phone. Free of charge. The break is yours.
All right. So we have a video to just demonstrate this, right? And we agree we're not gonna break anyone's phone today, right? Okay. So this video here, we're talking just about the kind of the kind of bad coincidence that might happen, right? And this happens to all of us, right? We drop the phone. Yeah. So that's Kandan glass. So Kandan glass, guys, it's a 10 times durable glass compared to what's the industry standard, right? So it is we're talking about scratch resistant and drop resistant. And this is something that is very popular. Like we even did some survey in other countries, which the Mate 50 Pro was launched already. And that's the most popular KSP or most popular feature that people are looking into the Mate 50 Pro first. Because let's face it, who wants to break the screen, right? Because the first thing that will break in your phone if you drop it is the screen, right? So if we give you this kind of feature to protect your screen to some extent, of course, some customers will have this kind of peace of mind, right? We are now talking about the special edition because the special edition has this kind of vegan leather as we agreed. And this can be also a concern for the durability, right? So there is a test here has been done to this kind of materials, right? Testing different kind of substance that you see every day, like for example, ketchup, foundation, coffee, all that on the vegan leather to see how yeah. So these materials here materials is very soft, right? It's very luxurious. When you hold it in your hand, you would like to hold the phone because of this material. But again, this is not glass or metal. So there is a concern about how durable it is. So the dirt resistant here, this is the material. So the sheet itself is the material. And here you're cleaning it. And as you can see, it is still pristine. It's not like wearing. So you can use these materials for up to 3 years, right? Without getting the normal wear and tear that you would get with the normal leather, which is like we might not scratch, but more like wear and tear. Like this is normal, right? So this is processed in a way to withstand the usage no matter what.
Give us warranty for 3 years for this?
Sorry?
Why would you warranty for this?
The warranty on the phone only.
No, not phone. I'm talking about the leather one.
The warranty is for 2 years, right? But
You're saying 3 years.
well, it's up to 3 years, but I don't know what you will do to your phone, right? I mean,
the temperature is different, humidity is more.
yeah, humidity also. But for example, we had the Mate 30 Pro with the same materials. People are still using it without. All right. So this is the wear and tear for the leather test for the leather edition. And we have the IP68. This time is to up to 6 meter. So this means like if you drop your phone, and we're talking about fresh water here mostly, right? In the pool, you splash water on it, or maybe you dropped it in the, like some people usually take the phone to the shower, right? So this is a common thing. So the phone is IP68, which is water resistant up to 6 meters. The battery here is 4,000 milliamp battery. It supports 66 watt charging, so it can go from 0 to 100% in less than 40 minutes, which is a very fast charging technology. And also the charger comes as part of the package, the unboxing experience you get, so you don't have to pay extra for this technology. All comes with the phone. It supports 50 watt wireless charging, and it can reverse charge other smartphones. So for example, if I have another smartphone that's running out of battery, a friend, I can just put it on the back of the Mate 50 Pro. It will charge it at 7.5 watts. So again, this can save someone's life or someone's day. If you're running out of battery, you can just get a couple of percent by just using the Mate 50 Pro reverse charging. So that's about it, about the Mate 50 Pro. So you have 3 colors. We have the black and the silver will be 256 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte of RAM. The orange one will be 512. So this is the special edition. The chipset here is Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 for Florian and Stefan. Of course, they will ask this question, right? So, yeah, and the display here is 6.74-inch OLED. Okay, any questions? Any price? It's coming. So, yeah.
Does it support eSIM?
eSIM, no, it doesn't support eSIM. So we have dual SIM, one like two active SIM, and the nano memory card. Any other questions? Right, Joel? If you introduce that. Yes, it supports the nano memory card, which is a technology again that's exclusive to Huawei. So it's similar to the micro SD card. You can extend the memory if you choose to.
How much I can do?
You can go up to 512, up to 256 gigabyte. Okay, so I'll leave. Yeah.
That is the inbuilt one.
Yes.
But when you
He's asking if you add the nano.
Yes. So here the 256, and you can extend the memory up to another 256 with this card. Any other questions?
Okay, so I have a question. All of you guys have a smartphone, and what do you use the most on your smartphone?
99% before camera.
And 1% for a call or a message. So that's the more important aspect on a phone. And people buy a phone now, just they don't care about other stuff, about whatever it can be, battery. They care about the camera. That's why Huawei has been investing a lot in our R&D on the camera. Ahmed mentioned one thing: it's the first ever device, first ever smartphone with a mechanical aperture. So I'm going to speak to camera people today, which we invited, and we are happy they're here today. Like Sachin is here, and his friend, also photographer. My mate Joel also is here, and all of you guys from the media, you all use your phone also as a camera or camera, videographer, whatever. So we've tested the phone. I mean, some of our friends, photographers, have tested the devices, the phone, the camera especially, and they gave us some testimonials. Our first one is Mr. Raj Sharma Babu, a professional photographer, and he gave us his testimonials on the phone, saying that the design is sleek and modern, and the performance is excellent. He was particularly impressed with the 50 megapixel ultra aperture camera, f1.4, which is good for low light and offers optical shallow depth of field. This definitely speaks to camera people. And he believed that the Huawei Mate 50 Pro is the best option for photography enthusiasts. Overall, he was pleased with the Mate 50 Pro and would highly recommend to others. Hope all of you guys also will recommend. Second photographer who tested the phone was Mr. Eric Lee. What he appreciated was the adjustable aperture, f1.4 to f4, which was a major change, like we mentioned. And he mentioned also that the camera provides a similar bokeh effect shooting, especially in portrait mode. And it also adapts from 1.4 to f4 in different shooting situations, but change everything in the picture. Again, game changer in mobile photography. And the next one, I would like to invite Joel, not me, but Joel Capillaire, which is also one of the photographers who tested the phone, to give us his feedback. Joël, au contraire de moi, est un petit peu plus timide. Mais bon, entre Joël, on se comprend. Whatever you want to speak English or French, you can just give us your feedback on the phone.
So, as a photographer, content creator, every day I use my phone to take photos, videos, like everyone else. I tested the Mate 50 Pro last weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend I went on a hike to get some pictures and everything. It's been a Huawei user for like 5 years now. 5 years.
Mm.
A big change in stability. Like if you want to do the long exposures with your phone, it's just hold it like that for a couple of seconds and you can get a very nice shot. Even for the video now, it's more stable. I see a big change, but for the photos, I cannot say anything bad about Huawei. I've been using it for a long time.
You're not paid to say that.
No,
let's
I'm
be
not paid.
honest.
I'm not paid.
This is
I'll send you my invoice. I'm not paid, but for quality wise, to have on you every day and even night, Huawei is for me is like one on top of the town.
and I know that you've been comparing the phone with other
brands,
devices.
yeah.
The first comparison was with his P30 Pro,
P30 Pro, yeah.
who at the time was launched in 2018, and you rated based on your
Yeah.
requirements for smartphone and camera, smartphone, let's say.
Mhm.
I guess you can mention the rating for the P30 Pro at that time. It was
At that time, P30 Pro was like a 9 out of 10.
which is already
At that time.
at that time, but P30 Pro
But
is a long time ago.
Expecting the technology to go from now, I would give the Huawei P50 Pro 8.5.
You mean the Mate 50 Pro?
Mate 50 Pro, sorry, yeah. Mate 50
Okay.
Pro 8.5. To me, not on
Yeah.
the market, but for me,
Right now,
because
because a lot of things have changed here.
I said there's more of the software that will have updates and everything that will make it better.
And you also compared to another brand.
I'm gonna mention.
You can mention the brand.
Yeah,
I
no,
won't.
I've used iPhones, I've used Samsung, but for me, quality-wise, stays with
What
Huawei.
would you give as rating on other brands, for example? I'm curious. I think most of you guys want to know. You want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can cut your life now.
Honest review. Honest review.
Rating. Well, I haven't used the lots of all of them, but for me, Huawei, iPhone, and then Samsung.
Honest review. Thank you.
Honestly, Huawei, iPhone, Samsung. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Joel, for your honest review and your testimonials. Well, of course, the media will be able, our friends in the media will be able to test the phone also, not only for photography, but for the durability, usability, everything. We have also Sachin, who has accepted our invitation. He will be also giving he will give us his honest testimonials on that one. And
especially I want to know this aperture 1.4 throughout is the same or is changing with the zoom, because this is the main in the lenses. That's why the lens is more expensive rather than the zoom one.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, only you can give your feedback about it.
I'm sure my photographer knows.
Yeah.
That's why 1.4 lens is like a 50K and a zoom is more cheaper. It's not 2.8 something.
You have plenty of time to try it.
Exactly.
Now let's go to the most important part, which is the price. So the Huawei Mate 50 Pro is on pre-order as from this Friday until the 26th of January, and will cost 52,999 rupees. On pre-order, you will also have a free gift. Some free gift worth 11,598, which is a FreeBuds Pro and the Huawei Band 6, plus the VIP service, which is already associated to the Mate 50 Pro. This is for the black version and the gray version, and for the for the vegan leather. Important to mention vegan leather, which is a 512 GB internal memory plus a vegan leather. It will cost 59,999. Same date, pre-order as from 20th of January until 26th of January for this special offer where you will have this gift.